stay on the markets. Well, because today marks the longest bull run in history. But our guest, who's about to appear on the camera, he says if the Democrats take control of the House, that's bad news for the market. Here he is, market watcher Tom Lee. Welcome back, Tom.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So if we get to November, the Democrats retake the House, you say the market heads south big time, or what?
Well, we've looked at, since 1900, the performance of markets depending on who's in the White House, who's in the Senate, who's in the House. The worst combination for stock markets is when we have a Republican president, Republican Senate, and a Democratic House.
Really?
Yes.
That's
on average, you're down
historically
2% a year. Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst scenario for markets.
So you're not saying that if the Democrats win in November and take the House, that we'll just plunge on the market, we'll just end the bull run. That it?
Well, I think it makes 2019 bumpy, but I don't think it ends the bull market. There are other interesting coincidences in 2019 that might point to it being a tough year.
We got 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it turns out that 2018 is the year that the Generation X population is peaking.
Wait a minute. Generation X is what age?
64 to 1980.
From 1964 to 1980. You were born in those 16 years.
Yeah, you're Gen
Xer. Okay.
Yes.
And they are doing what?
Well, the size of that population is peaking this year.
Okay.
The reason it's interesting is when Greatest Generation peaked in 29-30, Silent Generation peaked in 73-74, Boomers peaked in 99. Each of those marked a turning point for markets.
You look at that kind of thing?
Well,
do you go to your clients and say, hey, them Generation Xers, they max out this year. That's bad news for the market. Do you tell them that?
It's right after I bring out the 8-ball and
Seriously, you do? You include that in your analysis and you tell clients, watch out, because them Gen Xers...
Well, it's worth thinking about, because today the most important force in the economy are millennials, right? They're the folks who are 18 to 37. They're accounting for more than 50% of all growth in economic activity. So they're really important. So generations are important, but yes, it might just be a coincidence.
I think it's baby boomers who are the most important. We're still a huge bloom in our demographic.
Let's hope for
we've got the money.
Immortality for boomers, because you're right. They've done a lot of good.
Yeah, we're wonderful people, let me tell you.
Yes.
Stay there. Oh, no, wait a minute. You're the guy who said Bitcoin gets to $25,000, aren't you?
Yes. Yes,
well,
I did.
what are you saying now?
I still think it's possible. There's, one thing
anything's possible, Tom. Is it likely?
I think there's a good probability. Because, one, Bitcoin returns occur really in a handful of days. 10 days a year account for almost all the gains in Bitcoin. If you didn't own Bitcoin for those 10 days, you're down 25% a year. On average, those 10 days average to 500% gains. So it's substantial. And there's catalysts coming up in the end of the year. Probably the biggest, most positive thing happening is the ICE backed launch. It's actually essentially a regulated exchange. It's got wide participation, allow you to buy Bitcoin.
You're killing me with the math here, Tom. So just hold on a second. I'm going to turn to a subject I know a lot more about.